Good evening, everyone. This is High Point Mayor Jay Wagner, welcoming all of you who are here and anyone listening online to our regular High Point City Council meeting for Monday, December 19th. All of our council are present with the exception of Chris Williams, and Wesley Hudson's here but not at his chair right now. So we do have a quorum ready to do business. We'll begin the meeting with a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance. So I'll just ask everyone to rise, please. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First item on the agenda, I want to recognize the new executive director for the Arts Council. Allie, you got to tell me how to pronounce your last name.
It's Arpesian. You can ask me as much as
Arpesian. Okay, that's how I would have said it, of course. I just wanted to make sure, but no. She's going to give us an update on what the High Point Arts Council's up to.
Yes, thank you so much for having me out tonight. I want to thank Councilmember Jones for inviting me and Ms. Logan Ford. I'm sorry, what's the proper way to address you? Is that okay? Okay, all right. I was like, I'm still learning everything. I want to be respectful.
Names are not so easy.
I know, right? They are not so easy, and honorable titles and all that good stuff. But thank you so much for all the amazing things you do for our wonderful city. Thank you for the immense support you've given the Arts Council throughout the years. Almost 63 years as an organization coming up here, so it's very exciting. I just wanted to say hello and introduce myself, give you a little bit about my background, and then tell you where we're going. I don't know why I'm standing on my tiptoes, but I feel like I'm not high enough for this. Oh, thank you.
Man.
Oh, there's a button. That's fun. I feel very powerful now. But I was previously the executive director for Young Musicians of Alamance, a wonderful organization in Alamance County. We provided free music lessons to students in Title I schools. Did a lot in my time there, but really proud of the programming that we did, the impact that we had in the community, and the fact that I tripled our operating budget during COVID was just, it's kind of cool. But my goals right now for the High Point Arts Council are big. And I know that people have told me you need to wait at least a year to develop your 5-year plan for the Arts Council, but I'm a pusher and I move fast and I don't have a year for change. So I presented my 5-year plan a few weeks ago to our board, and I just wanted to hit some of the highlights for y'all so you can see the direction that we're moving in. There are 10 opportunities for growth here that I have identified. The first one involving increasing our sustainability, developing a fundraising plan, and increasing our financial security, increasing our volunteer and staff management practices, reevaluating our policies and our procedures that we have in place, developing a marketing plan, as well as a facility management plan. If you've been to our building, that's a big building, and I don't know a lot of how buildings work, so I need some help there. And investing in technological improvements, as well as board development, enhancing our community engagement efforts and our footprint in the community here, expanding upon what we are currently doing, and most importantly, strengthening our arts community, continuing to help it grow and flourish. And last but not least, we are really working to redefine the Arts Council in the coming years, possibly launching a rebrand as well. So I invite you to come and talk to me, ask me any questions. That was a quick hit the highlights before they start playing the music for me, and they got to get me out of stage. But there's lots of details to this plan, so please let's have conversations. I welcome the conversations. The next point in my phase here, again, only been in the role 3 months, but is to establish a need assessment. I want to kind of pop out throughout the community at the why. at the senior communities, I talked to Parks and Recreation with Lee about doing a needs assessment pop-up for Parks and Rec. That's my background. I have a master's in Parks and Rec, so I love the city. I love that vibe. But if there are any places that I should pop up and do a needs assessment that would really give a good scope of what does the community want to see from their arts council, I would really appreciate you letting me know what that location might be. And last but not least, I'm going to invite you to a couple things we have going on, and everybody, to these opportunities. We have a jazz brunch, a New Year's Day jazz brunch. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, I heard someone say that's cool. There are tickets on sale right now. It's January 1st from 11 to 2. We also have a songwriter circle and the Pullman Poet Society coming up. They meet every month. The songwriters at the first of the month, and the poets happen at the second week of the month. I am so sorry. I just realized that there is someone typing all of this and I talk fast. I'm very sorry. I'm from the north. Apologies. We also are going to start a new program. It's a piano bar karaoke. Super fun. A live pianist. Bring sheet music, sing whatever song your heart desires. That's going to happen on January 20th. We've got a pop-up Valentine's Makers Market in hopes of people shopping our local artists right before Valentine's Day. That's going to be Saturday, February 11th, and more to come. But thank you so much for your support. Thank you all for your time, and Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy all the holidays.
Thank you, Ally. Okay. Next on the agenda is our Finance Committee items, and for that, I will turn the meeting over to Britt Moore.
Thank you, Mayor. The first part of our agenda concerns our consent agenda items which were reviewed at our last meeting. They are items 2022-588, 585, 589, and 596, and I make a motion these items be approved.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the finance consent agenda items. Is there any discussion on any of these items? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes.
Next item for consideration is item 2022-590. It's a budget ordinance date extension request.
Councilman Moore, I'm going to make a motion to extend or to continue that item until our January meeting, which I think is January 17th.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, yep. There's a motion and a second to continue that item. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion passes unanimously. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Next on the agenda are our prosperity and livability items, and I think we just have one item on there, and I will turn that portion of the meeting over to Council Member Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we have one item. We met at our regular appointed time and had a presentation on amending our social districts, or our social district, sorry, singular. And you should have a map in your packet. This basically covers the downtown mixed-use area. And it comes to you on a consent agenda item. There's a slight alteration to that. It says the date is to be decided later. We would like to make that effective tonight. So with that, it comes the consent agenda item, and I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second for approval of the change to the social district. Any discussion? Hearing
I have a
none.
comment. I have a fun
Comment?
comment.
Okay.
So Ally, there's your first pop-up, Wednesday night, the Blooming Board, ugly sweater contest, and then we can all celebrate this. So anyway, Wednesday night at Blooming Board. All right, that's all.
Anyone else? Okay. All in favor of approval of the motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Community Development Committee, Councilmember Williams is not able to be here. Is there any objection to me handling this item from the committee? Okay. This is to rescind demolition ordinance for 1113 Jefferson Street. Do you need us? Okay. All right. I believe that the committee met on this, and I assume this came out with a favorable recommendation. Is that right? You guys on the committee yell at me if I'm saying something wrong.
This is a regular item. It wasn't heard at committee.
No, it did not come.
Oh, it wasn't heard at committee, okay. So this item, our note says that it is being repaired and it is in compliance now. And so we've been asked to rescind the demolition ordinance. And so I'll make a motion to that effect. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Did I confuse y'all sufficiently? Okay, good. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Planning and Development, there's just one item, and this is a resolution of intent to establish a public hearing date to consider a voluntary contiguous annexation. This site is 17.8 acres, located approximately 2,400 feet east of the intersection of Baker Road and Townsend Avenue, directly south of I-74. It is Guilford County Tax Parcel 157-946-180-691, the eastern portion of that parcel, and the eastern portion of parcel 180-694. And I make a motion for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. All right, there are several items I need to add to the agenda. So I'm making a motion to suspend the rules to add the following 4 items. One is a consideration of a lease of city-owned property, 300 Oak Street. Another one is a consideration of a contract for our interim city attorney. The next one is the appointment of a voting delegate to the North Carolina League of Municipalities. And the last one is the approval of a legal settlement. So I make a motion to suspend the rules to add those 4 items. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion passes. The first item is a resolution for approval of a commercial lease agreement for 300A Oak Street. I will turn this over for presentation to our Deputy City Attorney, Megan McGuire.
Mayor and council members, you will recall that the city has a agreement for purchase of 300A Oak Street. That closing is scheduled for tomorrow. The seller of that building has requested to lease the space back from the city for a term of 7 months, and we have negotiated the lease agreement, have all of the details in the document that's in front of you, and that lease term will begin directly after the closing when the city purchases the property. So if you have any questions.
And just for the public notice, the amount of the lease installments are $13,349.97 per month.
That's correct, for 7 months. And the seller is a showroom, is going to continue to use the space as a showroom during the duration of the lease agreement.
Anyone with any questions for our attorney?
Motion to approve.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve this item. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? That motion passes unanimously. The next item is the consideration of hiring Megan McGuire as our interim city attorney to be effective upon the retirement of our current city attorney, Joanne Carlisle. So I believe that's January 1 is when that will take effect. Contract's been negotiated and copies of that have been circulated to everyone. And I will make a motion for approval of that item. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Next item is the North Carolina League of Municipalities will be holding their City Vision event April 25th, 27th, and they have asked us to submit a voting delegate for that event. I have volunteered to be that delegate, so, and also an alternate, and Councilman Moore has volunteered to be our alternate. So I will make a motion then for approval of myself and Councilman Moore as our voting delegate and alternate for North Carolina League of Municipalities.
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And that motion passes unanimously. The fourth and final item, I'm making a motion to approve the drafting and execution of a settlement agreement in the stormwater enforcement case, City of High Point versus Arco Realty LLC, Basil Agapian, Sophia Agapian, and Emmanuel Agapian, which will generally include the following terms as may be amended as appropriate by the city attorney's office. Defendants to pay $60,000 to the city in 3 equal installments due February 1st, March 1st, and April 1st of 2023. Defendants to provide the final as-built survey and certification for completion of the repairs to the stormwater device. Defendants to provide proof of payment for the repairs to the stormwater device. The Public Services Director and property owners to execute an operation and maintenance agreement for the stormwater device going forward. And upon completion of all the above conditions, the city will file a dismissal with prejudice of all claims set forth in the lawsuit. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second for approval of that settlement. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. General business agenda, the only thing there are some minutes to be approved. Anyone have any changes to the minutes as listed?
Motion approved.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the minutes, and I believe I heard a second from Councilman Hudson. Okay, any discussion on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes unanimously. Before we adjourn, I will tell everybody that myself and Greg Ferguson attended the Metro Mayor's Conference Thursday and Friday of last week. It's a meeting of the mayors of the larger cities in North Carolina, and then some of the suburbs that surround some of the larger cities also attend. It was a very good meeting, a lot of issues faced by larger cities that are not necessarily faced by some of the smaller ones. There's a lot of discussion about the economic change that's coming with electric vehicles, especially how cities are going to be able to need to respond to public charging stations, how that gets built into city infrastructure, like parking decks, for instance. With some parking decks on our horizon, that's something we're going to have to be thinking about, is how we integrate charging stations into those facilities. Also, just general facilities through the city. There's a lot of talk about rail. That was a big thing. In fact, that group is creating a rail working group to start discussing possible expansion of passenger rail in North Carolina with the state and with Amtrak. There's also a lot of talk about workforce development and some other topics. I just want to give you all an update on what's being kicked around by some of the larger cities. It was a good event. It was hosted in Winston-Salem. Mayor Joines was very good host, and we got to take a tour of their innovation corridor area, among some other things that have happened in Winston-Salem. And I'd encourage you to go over there and walk around, see what they're doing. They've really made a lot of progress, and Tasha's familiar. You get Tasha to take us on a tour.
Me too.
Or whoever else we've got who's working for us now from Winston-Salem. Sandra could take us too, yeah. So, but no, there really is a lot going on over there. I was very impressed, and they've done a great job over there. So I'd encourage you to go over there and look around. With that, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and all the other holidays that they're getting ready to occur, and a Happy New Year. It's been another great year at High Point. I think we've done some transformational things this year, and That's my goal every year, at least one transformational thing. So I think we're on track. Anybody else like to say anything before we adjourn?
Nope, just happy holidays.
All right.
Just Merry Christmas, and we here in the city of High Point are so blessed to have great citizens, great staff, great leaders, and I'm so honored and blessed to serve, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So is there a second?
Second.
Okay. There's a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion before we adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, meeting is now adjourned.